This is KP4MD, KP4MD testing audio. Hi there. Are there any stations on frequency for the slow scan net tonight? It's KP4MD.
N6PGQ.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like we have a small group here. Very good. Thank you, N6PGQ. Well, I'm going to go ahead and open it. Do we have any other stations here serving as net control? Okay, nothing heard. I can go ahead and start. First of all, this is KP4MD. This is the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net, and we meet every Wednesday here in California, Sacramento, California. It's Wednesday evening. The time is 9 p.m. our time, which is, I believe, 0400 UTC, Thursday morning. We meet here on this frequency, which is 441.30 in the Sacramento area on a repeater of the N6NA River City Amateur Radio Communication Society. And we also live stream on our YouTube channel. And this net is pretty much for practicing image transmission modes. And we have a couple of stations that have checked in here on YouTube. We have Andy Cowley from the United Kingdom. That's 2 Echo 0 Romeo Echo Echo. Nice to see you in there, Andy. We have Frank, Whiskey 6 November Yankee X-Ray, and Alf, Kilo November 6 Papa Romeo Delta. And I already have one other check-in here through the repeater. That's Bob, N6PGQ in Roseville, California. And do we have any other check-ins here on the repeaters, KP4MD?
November Romeo 6 Hotel. This is Anders in Folsom.
Okay, very good. We have Anders in Folsom, California, November Romeo 6 Hotel. And I guess you'll be number 2. Any other check-ins? Okay, I guess I'll be number 3. So this is the rotation, starting off with Bob, N6PGQ, then Anders, November Romeo 6 Hotel, and then myself, Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta. So without further ado, we're going to pass it over to Bob and see if you have a picture for us. KB4MD, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, Carol and Annette. N6PGQ, this is going to be PD 120. N6PGQ.
Very good. This is KP4MD. Good solid copy on that. I see your family name, Woodward, and neon, and then the word Ford. I guess it's the Ford logo. Probably an older Ford logo, all in, looks in neon lights. There are a couple of interference lines to the center, and I'm sorry, it's my fault. I'm trying to do net control and do the live stream at the same time. I forgot to mute my microphone, and I had a little cough there, and it triggered the Vox those times. There is also a little bit of the repeater ID you could see caused a couple of faint lines just touching below the oval that the word Ford is inside. So you can see what I received over there on the YouTube if you're looking at the YouTube. So so over to you, Anders, and see if you got it any different. This is KP4MD.
No, I received something very similar to you. A mostly very dark picture, black with a neon sign symbol, Woodward Ford, in the style of the front of a car grill, I guess. Not a very practical thing to have in front of a car, I guess. So this, even though the background is so dark, so I can't see what it's mounted on, but I would assume it's not the grill of a car. Like Carol said, I have a few lines across the image also. Two of them go through the oval, and one is just below it. And a few specks as normal, but very little actually. So very good copy, and interesting to hear where this sign is. NR6H back to net.
Yes, Bob. This is your family name, of course, and I'm wondering if this is a dealership that you're related to, or what's the story behind this? Back to you, Bob. N6PGQ, KP4MD.
Okay, is it my turn to explain it?
Yes, it is. We've got a small group. It's your turn.
Okay, well, I usually send little pieces of a picture so that people have to guess what the whole thing is. But that's the whole thing. It's about 12 feet wide, and it's a Ford dealer sign. Originally came from Redmond Ford, but my brother decided to personalize it, so put Woodward on it. And it is a real neon Ford sign from the 30s to early 40s. And it's hanging on the wall in the shop.
Oh, is that in your brother's shop over?
That it is.
Okay, so does he have a service kind of a franchise or dealership over?
No, it's kind of a hobby shop. It's a family curse. My dad ruined the whole family, and so, things kind of get collected over the years, and that was a sign Bruce got and had the blue neon put on it. And once in a while we turn it on and happen to take a picture of it while it was on.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you for that. Also, Craig Bruce, WP2N from Louisiana, is on our live chat and says, good evening to Carol and the group. Another night of fun. And Alpha KN6PRD says, thank you for running the net and YouTube, Carol. That's very thoughtful. Thank you very much, Alf. Any other comments on this before we move on?
Comment?
Yes, please go ahead, Andy.
Yes, I just wondered if this thing is from the, you said 30s or 40s. Have you needed to change the bulbs and the lights in it at all, or has it does it burn out in that time?
The red neon tubes are original, and the woodward's been added on. Original tubes did not need to be refilled with neon, and we put new transformers in it. They're solid state ones, which seem to work a little bit better.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Interesting to hear about old technologies that work for a very long time. We went through technology, the incandescent era where things didn't burn very long, and now we're back to LEDs, so maybe things work through generations again. So interesting there. Thanks so much for that. Back to you, back to Net.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I remember back in the 70s when I was first got on the air on HF, I would around the evening time I would hear this static coming on some of the bands like 20 meters, 15 meters, and it was like a 60 hertz raucous buzz. And where I lived back there in New York City, I was just 2 blocks away from the main commercial thoroughfare where there is neighborhood stores. And sure enough, I found that buzz was coming from the neon signs in the windows. Had a little portable shortwave radio, and I just walk up to the street there and go right up to the front of the stores there, and yep, that buzz was coming in nice and loud from those. So I'm thinking you're probably, I don't know if a solid state transformer would create the same kind of crackling. Maybe so. It's I think isn't that from corona discharge from the high voltage that goes on at the ends of those tubes there. Do you have any idea, Bob? Over.
Well, I was corrected. Those don't have solid state transformers in them. They're the old original stupid things that weigh a ton and probably have PCBs in them. I don't know. They're wrapped in some kind of sticky, gooey stuff. I think the transformer itself and the circuits in them is what's causing the buzz. You know, you need to keep the neon activated and keep the electricity going through it to light the gas up. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they had a cheap sign or something like that. This one doesn't seem to bother my radio when I'm parked outside the building. N6PGQ.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Yeah, it's you wouldn't hear it on FM. It would be usually you hear it on an HF AM receiver, and it's caused because those transformers put out multiple kilovolts. I think they're in the range of some like 20, 30 kilovolts to ionize the neon and the long length of those tubes, and any irregularity on the wire that comes to a little sharp point where it's connected to the electrodes there will cause a breakdown in the air, and it will cause a corona discharge, and that's what generates the RFI. Those are notorious for that. Over.
Very good. You've obviously lived through the neon era. Unfortunately, most of that stuff's disappearing. The cities didn't like it and made all the businesses take them down. Anyway, back to Net, N6PGQ.
That's true. A lot of the new signs that kind of simulate a neon sign are just actually LEDs. Very good. So over to you there, Anders. If you're ready with a picture, we're ready to copy. It's KP for MD.
All right, so this will be a PD-120.
Okay, that picture came over here nice and clear. And why don't I give it over to you, Bob, and 6PGQ to see what you made of it.
Okay, well, the picture quality came through really, really well. I'm watching it on YouTube come in a little bit later than it came in on the air, and it looks like to me it's a end-fed half-wave, if I can read the writing on it, antenna, and if I can read it, kind of NR6H maybe, QRP EF something. Anyway, looks like an antenna project. Got the wiring already on it and ready to use out in the field. At least that's my guess. N6PGQ.
Very good. Yeah, it looks like Anders is going into business since he has a number of these printed circuit boards made up. I guess maybe he's going to be selling these, or perhaps part of a club project. I see, like you described, there's a BNC connector on the left side of the board. There's a toroid core with some windings on it. It's kind of hard to say, but I think there might be 3 turns on the primary, and if that's the case, the normal ratio of turns is 1 to 7. So if there's 3 turns on a primary, maybe there's 21 turns on the secondary, because that a 1 to 7 turns ratio gives you a 1 to 49 impedance ratio. So it's boosting up the impedance from 50 ohms to 50 times 49, which is almost 50 times 50. Right? And there's a tiny little, normally in these circuits you have a little capacitor across the primary turns, and I could see that little gray capacitor there soldered to the board. It looks like it has some yellow on the left end of the capacitor, and it's an un definitely. I could read that on the board, unbalanced to unbalanced, and it looks like you have a table, probably lengths of wire to let out the ideal lengths for the half wave for different frequency bands. This is what I'm guessing. So over to you, Anders. And R6H KP4MD.
This is NR6H, and yes, that is exactly what this is. It's a little QRP board designed. It's probably the simplest PCB I've ever designed in my life. It's got really just 2 traces on it. One goes into the transformer and one goes out, and then it's got a little ground plane on the back, and that's pretty much it. So a very, very simple PCB, and the only special thing with it would be the shape of it, so that you can wind up the cable, the antenna wire, conveniently on the thing, as you see in the background there. So this is not a thing for sale. I have no intention of making any kind of money on this. This was just for fun, just for myself to see if it worked. And well, if somebody else wants a couple of these boards, I'm happy to give them away. They are extremely cheap to make, and it's actually almost impossible to buy one. You have to order a whole bunch from China in order to get them done. But they are very, very cheap and very simple to get. So that's what this is, a little QRP antenna board, probably rated 10 watts or 15 or so at the most. And I'm playing with different ratios of that transformer to see what works. And this particular one actually had 26 turns on the secondary, which seemed to work really well. Not sure why that ended up being a good number, but I tried a few different, and the 26 seemed to give me the best results. So that's what this is. BNC to the left, capacitor in the path there, and I'm going to change that through-hole capacitor to a little surface mount here when those parts arrive in a week or so. So that's what this is. This is NR6H, and back to Nets.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. Question, the the capacitor, is that a 100 picofarad? I think in most of the projects I've seen, they recommend a 100 picofarad, and it should have a rating of a few hundred volts. I don't know if you actually need it that high for QRP, but that capacitor looks like it probably wouldn't withstand 100 volts over.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a this particular one is 120 picofarad, and again, I'm trying different values there to see running this on in different conditions and see how it fares. The footprint on the board is a 1206 footprint, and those capacitors are rated a kilovolt, so they should easily handle a little QRP radio. I have no intention of running this on anything heavier than maybe 10 watts. So that is a very sharp eye there, and exactly what it is. N6H, back to net.
Okay, yeah, one other question. I have wound one of these toroids before, and I have it in a little plastic box with the intention of testing it at some point. But I remember reading that you should ideally have some kind of a counterpoise wire, a short counterpoise wire, for this thing to work against. Otherwise, you'll have RF coming down the coaxial cable. And of course, ideally, you should also have a common mode choke on the coaxial cable where it's connected there to that on. So maybe you can illuminate us on that. Over.
Yeah, there is a ground lug to the left in the picture here, to the left between the BNC and the toroid. There's a little ground lug, and that could be used for a counterpoise. In my own experience, what I've seen is that the short, usually use a short run of coax, maybe 3 to 6 feet of coax between this and the radio, and that appears to be enough as a counterpoise. I've tried with or without a different counterpoise, and with or without actually tried to put a 1-to-1 between this and the radio, but that doesn't seem to have much effect. And I'm not too concerned about the RF coming down the coax because it's so low power. Obviously, at higher power, that would be a concern, but with low power QRP, I'm fine with being the counterpoise. That doesn't really matter much in this case. So, yeah, I believe that the radio and the coax works fine as the counterpoints in most cases here. But I mean, everything is different. Everything you add or remove to these things, they change characteristics, and it's definitely interesting to play with different ideas. But that's why I put the ground lug there, to have the option of actually running a proper counterpoise in there. So I hope that illuminates it a little bit. N6H, back to you.
Okay, very good. This is KP4MD. Yeah, in my experience, if you do have some common mode current coming down the coaxial cable, with a short run of cable like that, the cable actually becomes part of the antenna as well, and the shield of the cable. And of course, it would be susceptible to picking up noise, extraneous noise, and there'll be a slight amount of radiation from that as well when you're transmitting. Not a big deal if you're QRP, but you will also notice that if you touch your radio while you're transmitting, you can actually affect the SWR, because then your body becomes part of the counterpoise as well. So it's an interesting type thing. I personally like to use a common mode choke to avoid those kinds of effects. Does anyone else have any other comments about this very interesting antenna? This is KP4MD. Okay, nothing heard. So And very interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll maybe this weekend. This weekend we have the Farm and Tractor Days, and Bob, N6PGQ. I know you're going to be there on Friday. I don't know if you're coming out Saturday or not. That's at the Dry Creek Ranch House in Rio Linda. The Rio Linda Historic Farm and Tractor Days, starting at 9 a.m. And ending at 4 p.m. both on Friday and Saturday. And the River City Arcs is going to have an amateur radio exhibit and booth. So we'll have an operating amateur radio station there, literature for the general public, and get people a chance to talk on the air, and we have some code practice oscillator for the youngsters that really like that kind of stuff. And Bob, if you need, I don't know if you need any of the code practice worksheets. That I believe I have some, and I will make it a point to bring those if we do need them, because those were really, really popular, where the kids would write out their names in Morse code and then follow the worksheet to be able to send it with a little code practice oscillator key. What do you say, Bob? Over?
Yeah, Carol, I'm going to be there Friday, and I can't be there Saturday. I have a performance I have to play in. I'm going to bring my oscillators and keys, and I have a few of the kids' information sheets that I ran off, and if you could bring more, we might need them. I can leave anything that you want there and figure out how to pick it up, after the thing is closed on Saturday. So, yeah, I plan to be there in the morning and help everybody set up. I think Ken and Dave are going to be there also. So, looking forward to seeing everybody there. N6PGQ.
Roger, Roger. This is KP4MD. And I believe it's my turn to send a picture. And this is going to go out PD120, KP4MD. Okay, over to you, Bob, N6PGQ. This is KP4MD.
quality came through real well. Very few pixel pops, and it looks like the repeater did an ID over us. Pictures of a overview slide for the WinLink system. Has in the upper left-hand corner the data page, and then the I don't know what you call it, signal strengths and signal page, picture of a signal link modem and a radio, and has the WinLink software modem and radio system as a system there, and it says hardware or software sound card. And this may have been from the presentation that we had on WinLink at the River City Arcs meeting, but my memory is not that good, and I can't remember if that was one of the slides or not. But I enjoyed the presentation and need to find somebody to help me work with my silly PC to get WinLink hooked up. So I may be asking for help somewhere down the line. But the picture was very good, and looking forward to hearing where Carol got the slide, N6PGQ.
Okay, over to you, Anders. NR6H, it's KP from D.
The picture came through just fine. Decent resolution. I can't really see what the text says in the screenshots in the back there, but the colors are good, and it's a sharp picture with a few pops here and there spread out over the whole thing. No big artifacts anywhere in the picture, really. And I missed the presentation on WinLink, and it's one of those modes that I haven't really played with yet. So I'm definitely curious to learn more about it, like how the system is really tied together, where the where this is going. How is if I transmit something, where does it end up? That would be an interesting thing to learn, really. I don't know much about WinLink, as you can hear, so but I can figure out the technical part of this picture, how the signal path goes from the software to the radio. That's not much of a mystery to me, but maybe the rest of the system would be. So I guess I have to dig up that presentation. I hope it's online somewhere, and maybe I'll watch it here soon. So figure that out. Interested to hear more about this? This is NR6H, and back to net.
Yes, this is KP4MD. Yeah, this is actually one of the slides from the our May 3rd presentation at our meeting. And if you go to our website, n6na.org, there's a, right at the top of the home page, there is a how do you say, embedded YouTube frame, and you can actually play it right there, or you can click to go directly to watch it on YouTube and put it to full screen. But excellent presentation by K6OLI, who is on the development team for WinLink. So you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth. And I have an operational WinLink station. A number of us in the club are on WinLink. Besides myself, Kevin, K6DCT, I know Jojo is, KN6HTD. I think, I don't know if Wilson N6EMF has done WinLink yet. I don't think so. But, you know, with the equipment that you have here for slow scan TV, it will be a breeze to get you into WinLink. It's a free program, the WinLink program. It looks like essentially it works the same as Microsoft Outlook for emails. It has an inbox, an outbox, a sent box, and you handle it's for handling message traffic, similar to emails. That's why they call it global radio email. And you can compose a message and post it to be sent out. Then you open up a session, what they call a WinLink session, which will then push out your message into the system. You hook up with what's called a radio mail server, and there's a number of those around on the HF and also on VHF. Once you get into a radio mail server, it is then your message is then directed to the recipient. It stays on the radio mail server until the recipient logs on and retrieves it. So it can be relayed over RF, HF, transcontinental or intercontinental links, or even through the internet. So even if the internet goes down, it's what they say, they have redundancy. So it is possible to get messages over long distance through the HF gateways. So the infrastructure is there. It's excellent for places where you don't have internet, or if the internet has gone down, like if you're out on a ship somewhere out at sea and you don't have internet. You can send email and direct the email to any ham that's on the WaveLink system, or to any email address at all. There it'll tunnel through the internet, or you can also send the message as an SMS message to a cell phone. It's that flexible. And the forward error correction in there, it makes it error-free, which makes it really valuable in emergency communication systems, where there's like long lists of logistic stuff that needs to be requested. It could be sent error-free this way over.
Certainly interesting. Is the content of the email restricted by the same rules as we conform to as hams? So can you mentioned that it could be sent to an email address, any email address. So is it allowed with third-party communication and so on in WinLink? Over.
Yes, all of the message traffic that we handle has to conform to Part 97 limitations as far as international or other third-party traffic, and of course it can't be done for commercial gain, or it cannot be encrypted either. Over.
Understood. So that limits the utility a little bit, but it's still an awesome system. So I will definitely explore, and yeah, that sounds like something to try out here. So we'll do that. Thanks for the tip. NR6H, back to you.
Okay, and Bob, I know you're interested in doing this, and I would be glad to give you any kind of assistance you'd like to get it set up and get you on it, on the system there. It's I tell you, it's a lot of fun, and you're already set up. You have the interface that you need. All you need is to get the software downloaded and configured. Any other questions about this before we go on?
So you mentioned that you were running some form of node at your location. Is that node 24/7 active, or how does somebody get in touch with it? NR6H.
Okay, no, I am not running a node for WinLink. What I have is an all-star node, which is a completely different thing. It has nothing to do with data or a message traffic. It's similar to the Echo link that's on the repeater. I'm set up over here on WinLink. I just log on whenever I want to onto a local radio mail server. That's what's called a gateway, or an RMS. There are a number of gateways here in this area, and of course they're all over the country and all over the world. They're on VHF and also on HF, and that's where you would just log into one of those and put message in through there or receive message from there. And I could certainly give you more information about that. Here in the Sacramento area, I know off the top of my head, there's probably about half a dozen radio mail servers on 2 meters that you can access, either through packet or through this Vara FM, which is another kind of a modem program that also goes through the signal link. You can operate packet through the signal link using the UZ7HO sound modem. It's a software that simulates a packet TNC, so you don't need a hardware TNC to operate packet radio. It could go through that method, which uses the AX25 protocol, or you can go through Vara FM, which is a completely different type of encoding, which actually is a bit faster than packet. But there's, I guess that probably answers your question. Over.
Yes, that certainly answers my question. So I think I'm starting to paint the picture here. So very interesting. We'll certainly look up more about this. Thanks for the explanation. Very interesting stuff. NR6H, back to net.
Okay, well, I'm going to say now it's been 45 minutes that we've done this awesome net, and me running both the YouTube and doing net control is a little bit tiring, so I think I'm about pooped out for this evening. If it's okay with everybody, I'll go ahead and secure the net. What do you say, Bob? N6PGQ, KP4MD.
Sounds good to me. Wish everybody 73 and good night. N6PGQ.
Yeah, okay, 7-3's Bob and Anders. Is that okay with you too?
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much. Been an interesting evening. 7-3 to both of you and everybody on the YouTube also. Good night.
Very good. 7-3's to all, and I want to welcome, invite anyone who's watching us to join us again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And of course, you can always replay our sessions on our YouTube channel, which is the River City Amateur Radio Communications Society channel, N6NA. Good evening to all, and we are now closing the nets. KP4MD clear.